Hi, this is Pastor Joshua Hawn at First Baptist Church here, and we wanted to try to create this YouTube channel. Facebook Live is not always the best way to go for us and what we need, and so just wanted to be able to give this a try. So this is kind of our first attempt at this, and things with the coronavirus are changing every day, in some ways every hour, and so we as a church just want to make sure that we are staying on top of everything and giving people not only the information about our church that they need, but also opportunities then to be able to worship with us. A few things about doing things, I don't know why it's so flashy like this. A few things about why we would want to have an opportunity to live stream services and things like that. And I guess the first thing I need to say is that the church, we make at First Baptist Church preaching central. We are word-centered people. We're people that we, one of the great reasons that we believe the church exists is to get the message of the Bible out. And so that's something that we hold in high esteem, to the Bible preaching. And it takes up a lot of our service. It takes up, 40 minutes or so of our service, and so we make the preaching of the word central, and it's one of the reasons that so many people come to our church. Now, having said that, preaching isn't, of course, the only reason for going to church. In fact, and I've said this before, if you're looking for just preaching, you'll probably find better preachers somewhere else other than here. And so for people that say, I don't need church, I can hear preaching wherever, you're right, you can hear preaching whatever, but the point of church is not just the preaching. Now, I personally think that it's a lot easier to get something from God. It's a lot easier to hear the message that you need to hear when it's live, when you're actually interacting with a pastor. I've found that in listening to pastors online or in the radio, it's a lot less likely that I'm going to respond in the way that I should when I'm sitting in a service. But be that as it may, there are still, of course, benefits in having a message, listening to it later, even sitting in the comfort of your own home and listening to a message. But I just want to say that we're not planning on making this a regular thing where we don't have church and we just, we're an online church. I don't believe there is such a thing as an online church, because the church is more than just preaching. The church is a community of people, and right now, because of sicknesses going around, we're not able to meet in community. One of the greatest and best things about our church, the one another aspect of it, is being denied us because of sickness. And I get that, and I'm not fighting against that necessarily. I want our people to be safe, and I want people in every church to be safe, and sometimes then for that, hard decisions need to be made, especially among the most vulnerable people. But so what can we do? We're being denied the community aspect, but we still have the preaching aspect. And so what we'll try to do is have these services online. As long as I'm healthy, will be here to be able to preach a message. And we're looking at doing that through, again, Facebook Live and also YouTube. We're still trying to work all that out, but we want as many people as can during those times to be on. Now, apparently YouTube, we can't actually live stream a YouTube video unless we have 1,000 subscribers. So if you and 1,000 of your friends want to subscribe so that we can do live video, that would be great. Feel free to like and subscribe. I feel, funny saying that, but if you would, that way the more subscribers we have, we could do a live video. But right now, Facebook Live is the only one we can do. Now, that's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. We could even just post these to the YouTube. To the YouTube. Wow. We could post this to YouTube later, to the website, and then you can watch it wherever. Otherwise, you can watch it on our Facebook page. You don't need a Facebook account to do that. Otherwise, you can just hear the sermon audio off of our website. So, again, all that to say, we want people to be able to benefit from preaching. And again, we believe that there's benefit in preaching. We believe that there's something really powerful in hearing the Word of God preached. And so we want to make that available and do what we can in the midst of all the things that we can't do. And I still encourage you to call each other, to reach out to one another. as best you can. If we could have a service where everybody could kind of log in and you have just screens that we're still doing church and you can talk to each other, we would. I don't think that's really that feasible, but I like that people still want to stay in touch and still stay in that community because it is more than just preaching. Some of you, maybe you're not in the regular habit of going to church, and the closure of certain churches, including ours, means absolutely nothing to you. And let me just encourage you that in making this easier for you to not have to get out of your house and get dressed and come to church, it might be just a little bit of an introduction into you coming to being a part of First Baptist Church in the small way that you can in some of our services online. All right. So what I'm saying is, for some of you who you live in our area, you could go to First Baptist Church and you just don't. You're just not sure what that would be like. Get just a little, just kind of dip your toe in the water of our church and just see. And again, it's really awkward. I'm asking you to log in and hear me preach. But I do think, and I pray that the messages that I preach would be helpful and useful to you. And so to that end, I want to encourage you to join us. We haven't actually closed church yet. We're still kind of going through all that. I know that the recommendations, it was 250, then it was 50, then it was anything less than 10. Anything less than 250, that's not a big deal for us. And anything less than 50, depending on what the service is, that's about where we are. Less than 10 is hard. I mean, we got 7 just when the Hawns show up. So there's just, what do you do, right? But and we have space too, where everybody could spread out and you wouldn't even touch each other. And then the point comes, well, are we doing this legalistically? We're just doing it to do it. And I don't want to do that. I don't think that's right. But there is, I think, this yearning to get together, and church is important for people. So I'm not saying that we are closing church, but I'm just saying if you have the opportunity to tune in to one of our services, then you should. I think you'd really enjoy it, and invite some friends to tune in as well. If you have a church already, I'm not trying to take you away from that church. You tune in or do whatever they're doing. But I'm saying to some of you who don't go to church anymore, maybe this is just a little test case. Maybe the Lord sent this time where you're kind of relaxed, where you could just check it in. Now, hopefully, then as soon as you like it and you appreciate the ministry of our church, then maybe when we get back going again, then maybe you'd come. And that would be great. I would love that. But anyway, that's just kind of, we'll keep this updated and things like that. I feel like I'm rambling, but there was one other thing I wanted to say, is that if you feel inclined to give, church members, whoever, inclined to give, we do have a spot on the website where you can go on and give through PayPal. You can, of course, mail checks or whatever in, and that's between you and the Lord. I'm not asking for donations. I'm just saying if you're in the regular habit of giving anyway and you want to honor the Lord that way, there are some options. We're not able to, pass the plate to your house. So however you do that is great. But anyway, remember to reach out to neighbors who are elderly, who are more susceptible, neighbors maybe that you haven't ever met before, and just go over and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm a Christian, and I want to try to be Jesus for you. If there's anything that you need, here's my number. You know where I live, obviously, right across the street or right next to you, and if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. And of course, for First Baptist Church, if there's anything we can do, there's a lot of things we can't do. But if there is something that we can do and we can use our resources to help and bless you, then please let me know. Maybe some of you don't know anybody, or maybe you don't have the resources, but you would say, hey, I know a guy who can help you, and I'd like to be that guy, the guy that can maybe use our resources. If you're recommending them, if you know their real needs and things, that would go a long way in making it easier for me to say, yes, we can definitely help. And so just be aware of that if you would, and help us out by helping others out. And as a Christian, then we just definitely want to be praying for people in our area that they would stay safe. And more than that, that as they maybe contemplate eternity and mortality, that they would understand that there is a God who loves them. And he loved them so much that he sent Jesus Christ to die on the cross. Jesus took all the wrath of God that I owed, that I was deserving of, all the hell that I deserved. He took all that on himself on the cross. And when we then recognize that we're sinners, recognize that there's nothing that we can do to save ourselves, and instead of turning from to our good works, our religion, baptism, Lord's Supper, communion, all those things that we do to try to get forgiveness with God, if we turn from all those things and simply say, God, I believe that Jesus died for me. I believe that his death on the cross was sufficient for me. Not anything else, just him. I believe that he died for me. The Bible says that when you transfer your dependence from yourself, from your religion, from your church even, to Christ, it says that he that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out. Anyone who comes will have all their sins forgiven. And then you can be like so many at First Baptist Church. You don't have to worry about where you're going to spend eternity. You can have the assurance that comes with knowing Christ. So, and if you don't know what that is, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, being born again, being saved, knowing your sins are forgiven, then please contact me. Please contact the church. I'm here at the church, and many of you know me, my number, or through Facebook or anything anyway. But if you have anything that I can help you with, I do want to help you, even if we have to stay so far away. So we'll upload this video and talk to you later.